devaya yonta pravishya mamavacha imam prasuptam sanjeevayati akila shakti darasvadamna anyam sahascha charanasya vanatvagadi prana namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam prana namo bhagavate tasmadakam mikta viklava ishwarasya sarvatmana mai grinami jaman तस्मादकं विकटविक्लव ईश्वरस्य सर्वात्मना मयि गृह्णामि एतामनीशं नीचो जया गुण विसर्ग अनुप्रविष्टः पूयेत येन हि पुमान् अनुवर्णितेन जय ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय मुदले श्रीमति महाविष्णु गोस्वामी नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय मुदले श्रीमति भक्ति नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी भगवान विचार निर्विशेष गुणादि पश्यादि जय सर्वे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Mataji. We are reading from first canto, 18th chapter, 48th verse. Okay. Beautiful verse. This verse is the qualities of a Vaishnava. So, this is the exalted quality of Parikshit Maharaj. Tiraskrita vipralabdaha saptaha shiptaha atapi nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhaktaha prabho api he na certainly. Can you go to the word meaning Prabhu? Certainly. Certainly they will not take revenge. So this is very, 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 this he is very important. Even though they are powerful, they will not counteract. In what circumstances? That's what is mentioned. Tiraskrita, being defamed. Vipralabdha, being cheated. Shaptaha, being cursed. Shiptaha, disturbed by negligence. Ataha, or even being killed. Api, also. Na, never. Asya, for all these acts. Tat, them. Pratigurvanti, counteract. Tat, the lords. Bhaktaha, devotees. Prabhavaha, powerful. Api, though, he, certain. Even though they are very powerful, they will not counteract. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing. What is the word he uses? So forbearing. It's not just forbearing. So forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Purport. Rishika Samika also knew that the Lord does not forgive a person who has committed an offense at the feet of a devotee. The Lord can give only direction to the shelter of the devotee. He thought within himself that if Maharaj Parikshit countercuts a boy, he might be saved. But he knew also that a pure devotee is callous about worldly advantages or reverses. As such, the devotees are never inclined to counteract personal defamation, curses, negligence, etc. As far as such things are concerned, in personal affairs, the devotees do not care for them. But in the case of their being performed against the Lord and his devotees, then the devotees take very strong action. It was a personal affair, and therefore Samika Rishi knew that the king would not take counteraction. Thus, there was no alternative than to place an appeal to the Lord for the immature boy. It is not only the Brahmanas are powerful to award curses or blessings upon the subordinates. The devotee of the Lord, even though he may not be a Brahmana, is more powerful than a Brahmana. But a powerful devotee never misuses the power for personal benefit. Whatever power the devotee may have is always utilized in the service towards the Lord and his devotees. What an exemplary, wonderful. So let us go to the background and then go to the verse. So here we are reading in 35, 34, 35. 35 was saying that after the departure of Lord Krishna, the Samika Shringi took a stand that he wants to take the position of Krishna, and he has become an authority. He has become a Shastric evidence. So he wants to take the authority from Krishna on his own. So immaturely he took the authority on his own and started to curse Parikshit Maharaj. And the 36, with that hot anger, touching the water of the river Kaushika, and playmates, thunderbolt of words. Prabhupada used the word thunderbolt. It was not at all befitting for Parikshit Maharaj. the Brahmana circus. On the 7th day from the date, he will bite not by ordinary living entity, by Takshaka. Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake in the father's shoulder, and out of his grief, he cried very hard, loudly. He was crying for his father, not for the mistake he has done. Oh Brahmanas, the Rishi was born in the family of Angira Muni. Hearing his grandson crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw a dead snake around his neck. He threw the dead snake and asked him why he was crying, whether anyone's done him harm. On hearing this, son explained him what had happened. The father heard from his son that the king had been cursed, although he should not have been condemned, for he was the best among the human beings. The Rishi did not congratulate his son. On the contrary, began to repent, saying, Alas, what a great sinful act we have done as performed by my son. He was awarded heavy punishment for an insignificance. The person who is supposed to take the offense, I said is insignificant. Samika Rishi told it is insignificant. Oh, yeah. Oh, my boy, your intelligence is immature. And therefore, your knowledge, you know no knowledge that the king, who is the best among the human beings, is as good as the personality of God. And is never to be placed on the equal footing with the commonwealth. The citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. My dear boy, who carries the Lord, carries the wheel on his chariot, is represented by the monarchical regime. And when this regime is abolished from this world, then it will be world will become filled with thieves. If Parikshit Maharaj goes away, the Kali Yuga is going to come, and the Kali Yuga comes, there will be rulers, will be plunderers. So he was taking care of a cow. A cow and the bull were beaten by a king who disguised as a king and came. At the time he was questioning. Now what is happening? Nobody cares. What has happened? I will tell you one example. So they have given in the public distribution system ration shop. They give some for this Pongal, this Makara Sankranti. The government gave, the Tamil Nadu government gave. So when they gave, they found out in one of the interior districts of Tamil Nadu, they gave Imli, so tamarind. In the tamarind, there was a dead lizard. So this fellow went to the shop and said, why you are putting dead lizard in this? How can we eat this? This is poison. Then he went and told and complained to the PDS fellow. The PDS fellow said, I cannot do anything. You take it or throw it, whatever you want to do, you do. So he became very upset. That person went to the police station and complained. The police took the FIR, they took the evidence and all, and they kept quiet. In the meantime, they didn't take any action against the PDS. So in the meantime, this fellow went back home. This old man, he's around 65, 70. So he went back home, and then what has happened? When we went back home, the police came to his house and they handcuffed him and they took him to the jail and they put him on a non-bailable warrant. Why? Because the reason we came to know, because he didn't get any response from the PDS shop, he didn't get any response from the police, which he has made a genuine complaint, a written complaint, first information report he has given, FIR. But what has happened? This fellow could not get any answers. So he was frustrated. So he took a video, YouTube video, and put it in he told some of his friends to put it in the Twitter and all this. So it became viral all over. Instagram and WhatsApp, everything he was sent. So he sent a message because nobody is taking action. So he was very upset that the government is not taking action. So at least the government will come to know. So what has happened? This government, which is a plunderer, is a rascal who is ruling this Tamil Nadu state. This rascal, what he did, he instructed the police to catch that fellow and put him in jail because he has gone against the government. And he has put this video in the viral because he has blasphemed the government, put him in as a terrorist. See, he just wants to tell the fact. And he has been categorized as terrorist and he has been put in 6 months ban. Can you imagine how he has been prosecuted? These are all the thieves and plunderers who are there presently in government. So these are all the thieves. So this is what we can see here. But here, Parikshit Maharaj was not like that. Because all filled with thieves. And that's why he knows. Samika Rishi doesn't want to end the life of Parikshit Maharaj. because he is non-different from Krishna. At once vanquished the unprotected subjects like scattered lambs. And then due to the termination of monarchical regimes and plundering of the people wealth by rogues and thieves, which is being done now in the government, there will be a great social disruption. People will be killed, injured, animals, women will be stolen, and for all this, we shall be responsible. So he anticipated all this. Samika Rishi was an exalted sage, and his son was also powerful Brahmana. He was able to curse, and the curse became true. So powerful Brahmanas they were. But he is immature, Shringi. At that time, people in general will fall systematically from the path of progressive civilization in respect of everything, and they go down. So Emperor Parikshit is a pious king. He is highly celebrated as a first-class devotee of the Lord. He is glorifying him. Samika Rishi is glorifying him. He is a saint amongst the royalty, and he has done so much sacrifices. When such a king is tired and fatigued, being stricken by hunger and thirst, he does not deserve to be cursed. Then the Rishi prayed to all the Supreme Personality of Godhead to pardon this immature boy Shringi, who had no intelligence and committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate, who deserved to be protected. Whatever. And then he comes to this verse. So here, what he's saying, why is he praying to Krishna in the 47th verse is very important. He's praying to Krishna for forgive the offense because Parikshit will not take the offense very seriously. The curse itself will not take it seriously, and therefore the only recourse is to go to Krishna. So that's why then he is telling what is the qualities of the exalted ornament of qualities of a Vaishnava, an exalted Vaishnava like Parikshit Maharaj. That's what we are seeing in this verse. Tiraskrita vipralabdha shiptaha shaptaha atapi nasya tat pratigurvanti tat bhaktaha prabho apihi. The he is very important. Now we'll go into plunge into this verse. So first we will see Tiraskrita, being defamed. So this is very important for us to understand, Prabhuji and others. In this world, we will be defamed. We will be put down. Why? Because people cannot tolerate the flourishing condition of others. Bhagavatam tells 4.6.47. It says that anybody is well off, immediately we want to put them down. That's the nature of the living entity. So in this world, you cannot expect everyone to glorify you. There are so many people who are envious of you and they want to put you down. And they blaspheme. And they show the envy and hatred towards you. And that is definite. And that's why you can see in office, a person is growing in very good, nicely production. We would want to put him down. Oh, this fellow is like that. This fellow is like that. That fellow is like that. He is doing like this. He is doing like that. Like that, we try to blame the people. Why? Because we want to defame them. It is natural. So, in this world, Prabhujis and Matajis, your own relatives, your own father, your own mother, your own relatives, your sister-in-law, your daughter-in-law, all these people will defame you. Because out of envy, they will do it. If they don't do it, you should be surprised. Because nobody can tolerate, oh, they are in a better position than us. So this envy is the root cause of all the problems. So the envy is there, the defame will be there. So we should be ready for this defame. And we should not worry about this. Prabhuji and Mataji. And that's what we are going to see, the quality of a devotee, how we perform, how we behave. That's what we are going to see. So the defame is inevitable. So your mother-in-law will defame you. Your sister-in-law will defame you. Your husband will defame you. Even a husband will be envious of you. Everybody is envious. It is natural. If it is, they are not envious, then we should be surprised. Then there is a pure devotees. You understand? If they are not envious of you, they become pure devotees. So naturally, people are envious. So envy is the, Maharaj says, this is the best mentality we have. And this is ingrained. And it is a deep-rooted insight. And because of the envy of Krishna, only we came into this material world. Otherwise, we were with Krishna. We saw Krishna, why you are all in all, why you are enjoying all in all, why not me? The moment the thought came to us, then we become envious of Krishna. The moment we become envious of Krishna, Krishna said, you are not fit to be in this spiritual world, so you have to go. And that's why Vaikuntha means what? Envy. No envy. So envy. If envy is there, you cannot go. Oh, no. So Yeah, there is no envy in the material, in the spiritual world. There is other rasas are there. Anger and everything is there. But the rasa of envy doesn't exist in the spiritual world. And that's why we can see in third canto, when the Tulasi Maharani is glorified, all the other plants glorify. Whereas suppose I glorify, Prabhu, Rajat Prabhu, you are a better devotee than Pant Prabhu, then finish. Pant Prabhu will not tolerate me. He will kill me. Next time he will not give me any opportunity. Prabhu will say, no, I will not give opportunity to Pant Rajat Prabhu. Because you told me that I am not a better devotee. Because we cannot tolerate the flourishing condition of others. And therefore, it is only for a joke. Don't take it seriously, Prabhu. Rajat and Pant Prabhu. Don't take it seriously. This is only for an example I'm telling. Please don't take it into your heart. So, just for an example, I told. So, this is natural. And therefore, what is important is the devotees, what we should do, we should glorify Krishna. And actually, you should avoid glorification of the devotees in front of others. If you want to glorify, if you have done nicely, you glorify him personally. Why you are glorifying in front of others? So this is what the problem in the devotion service. Oh, especially when Mataji prepared prasadam. Mataji, आपका मटर सब्जी बहुत अच्छा था. Oh, chapati ठीक नहीं था. ऐसा बोलेंगे तो problem हो जाएगा. So one Mataji will become envious, one Mataji will be very happy. Why we have to do that? Don't do that. So this nature is to defame somebody. So we should not comment on it. Prasadam is a prasadam. Krishna's prasadam. However, the Mataji did doesn't matter to us. Maybe we can tell them in a nice way, Mataji, this chapati can be done like this, like this. We can give them some suggestion. Doesn't mean that we should criticize and condemn in front of others. Especially don't criticize in front of others. You see, Krishna is so intelligent. Lord Brahma did the Brahma Mohan Leela. He didn't insult him in front of, he didn't allow Brahma to fall at his feet in front of all the Gopas. The same thing happened for the Indra also. Krishna is very particular that the Indra's position, Brahma's position are high, and they should not be defamed in front of the gopis and gopas. So that's why it is very important. So the defame is an inevitable fact, and it will be there. So we should not worry about this. And therefore, a devotee, that's why Prabhupada writes in the purport, he doesn't care for any defame. Prabhupada was also defamed by all his godmothers. He's useless, he cannot do in America, nothing can be done. Nobody encouraged him, So much problem he faced, It was failure. All the places he was failure. His own godmothers did not help him. They criticized him and condemned him. Can you imagine? His own godmothers, they condemned him and criticized him out of envy and autoron. But however, he was successful because he did not take it to your heart. Because this is what we have to do. So when there will be defame, and therefore it is very important we should be desensitized. Desensitized means we should not be sensitive to somebody's statements. We may get immediately some reaction, but we have to think, oh, Teraskrita, Vipralabda, Shiptaha, Shaptaha, Shiptaha, Tapi, Nasa Tatprati Yuvanti, Tatbhakta, Prabho Api. This verse should come into our mind. So that's why we should behave. Even to our daughter-in-law, even to our son-in-law, we should behave like this. This is very important. So the best example from the basis of the Bhagavatam is Daksha, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, Lord Daksha, King Daksha, Prajapati Daksha was making a big sacrifice. And he has married his daughter, one of the daughters. What is her daughter name? Anybody knows?
Can you repeat the question, Prabhuji?
Daksha's daughter was married to Lord Shiva.
Parvati.
Sati.
Parvati. That is correct, Mataji. Very good. But actually, it was not, it is Parvati only. But it is mentioned that her name is Dakshayani. When she was born as a daughter of Daksha, she was called Dakshayani. Other name is Parvati, is a different pastime. So, she was married to Lord Shiva. So, he was married and therefore, Lord Shiva becomes a son. So, Prajapati Daksha was conducting a big sacrifice. He invited everybody, including Lord Shiva. And what has happened? He entered the arena of the Bhagavatam. He says very nicely, he entered the arena of the Bhagavatam. He entered the arena of sacrifice. When he entered, he has got so much emphasis because he was a pure devotee of the Lord. But however, you see how he behaved back. The false ego of a devotee can put him down. So that's what happened. So what he did, he entered the arena. When he entered the arena, everybody stood up, including the sages, saints, everybody stood up, except Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. And then he saw Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma did not wake up. He didn't mind for Brahma. Brahma is his father. So father did not wake up, he doesn't worry. Lord Shiva is my son-in-law, why is he not waking up? And then he criticized. He says, his eyes is like a monkey. Yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are like those of the deer. Nevertheless, he did not stand to receive me. He did not wake up with sweet words. I would have no desire to give my daughter to this fellow who has broken all the rules of civility. He doesn't know what is civilization at all. He's not a civilized human being. And then he says, required rules. He's impure. I am obliged to hand over because of my father, he says. And just one teaches message of Vedas to Yasundara. He lives filthy places, crematoriums. How much criticism? And Lord Shiva, as person, he was defamed in front of Shiva. What is Lord Shiva's position? Vaishnavanam yata shabhu. Yeah. Innadanam yata Ganga, Devanam achuto yata, Vaishnavanam yata shabhu, Purananam idam tata. 12th canto. It is the 3rd chapter. Glorification of Vaishnava. So how the Purana is also, Bhagavata Purana also is glorified. So here we can see this attitude of Dakshapati, that he was so arrogant, egoist, and his false ego flared up like anything. And because the false ego flared up, he was not caring for this person, Lord Shiva. He doesn't know what Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva did not seek a single word. He just went out after sacrifice. Once the sacrifice is over, he went out, not even a word he spoke. But however, Nandi, his assistant, became affected, and he fought, and he cursed the sages cursed both, and then a lot of counteraction. But Lord Shiva is concerned, he went away. So he was defamed in front of so many people, but he tolerated. And this is what we have to understand. Prabhujis and Matajis. So we are all followers of Lord Shiva because he is the topmost Vaishnava. And therefore it is very, very incumbent upon our part that we should tolerate all the defamation in our life. Our wife, our children, our family, all the way you will get defamed, Especially when I'm seeing my horoscope for my son. So many people, they talk so many things. The children's father, their daughter's father nowadays, they think that their daughter is like Queen Elizabeth, and she is the topmost in the world, as if our children, our sons are all useless. This is what they're thinking. So bad behavior, I'm telling you. So we have to take the defame, we have to absorb it. This is very difficult, but we have to do it. This is how the material world is. The defame will be there. So here, this is Tiraskrita. And then Vipralabdha. Vipralabdha means cheated. The best example. And therefore it is easy. There are so many bogus gurus who teach us wrong things and think carried away. There was one fellow who was Nityananda, even South India. He was one of the disciple of one great saint in Madurai. But what has happened? He started moving with girls, and he justified. Now he has started a place near South America. He has got so much money. People are attracted by him that he has created a place, and that place is called Kailasha. He's calling it as Kailasha. And there is a passport and all. The island he has taken over, and somebody has given the donated the whole island for construction and money. I don't. So these type of bogus gurus, and he speaks very nicely, and people are attracted by this. There are so many people, so many bogus gurus are there. There is one guru, this Sadguru, they call it Sadguru, no? The Isha Yoga group. That fellow says that we don't believe Bhagavad Gita, we don't believe Bhagavad. We believe only Rudram Chamakam, we believe only Lord Shiva. We don't believe that Krishna exists. This is how he is speaking, So he is the propounder of this Isha. And he speaks so wonderfully, and people are attracted. So many millions in Coimbatore, in South India, in Tamil Nadu, he has got properties worth more than 400 crores. So much of property and wealth and money in the bank and all. He was around 70, 72. But because he is cheating, so many people are getting. So don't get cheated. And Prabhupada always says, whenever people are getting cheated, please don't get cheated. So it is very important that we should not get cheated. And ultimately, we have to know one thing, Prabhujis and Matajis. We will be cheated in the life. When somebody can tell me, we will be cheated in the life. Definitely. One time. Bhagavatam tells that. Anybody can tell me? Just guess. Just a guess. He'll be cheated. Excellent. Vinitra Mataji ki jai. Vinitra Mataji, such a wonderful answer. Mataji. So we will be cheated at the time of death. Correct? So this body, which is assuring you so much of things, suddenly at the death, what has happened? Sudden one corona, some virus fever, some accident, what has happened? Whole life is gone. It is cheating you at the time of death. So there is a verse also. There is a verse from Bhagavatam. This verse was spoken by Bali Maharaj to Vamanadeva. Kimmatmananena 8:22:9. Kimmatmananena jagati yontataha. Kimmatmananena jagati. Jagati means cheated. You are cheated at the time of death. Antataha. When the time of death, we are cheated. Krimrittaharai swajanakya dasmi. Chimjayaya samsutihet bhutaya. Mardasya gegai kemayishobhyayaha. Prabhujis and Matajis, we will be cheated at the time of death. And therefore, this should remember us. And therefore, what we should do, we should not waste our time in contraction anybody. We should go on working on Krishna consciousness. So this verse is very, very important. Kim Riktaharai. Riktaharai means they are plunderers. Who? Swajana. All your relatives and all, they are all plunderers of your wealth. Kim Jaya Samsutyet Bhutaya. What is the use of your wife? She is just increasing the material life problems. Martesya Gege Kim Ayushobhyaha. And then he says, I'm going to die. Why we are wasting our time? So that's why this cheating is happening, the time of death, and therefore it is very important that we should not lose our time. So this is the time to spend on Krishna, not waste time in contracting with the people and waste our whole lifetime. Leave it, and we have to go towards Krishna, and that should be there. Vipralabdha. So, but for the devotees, there is no problem, because when we chant the holy names of Krishna, we are not cheated. For the devotees are exception. If you do nice devotion service, if you do nice bhakti, then automatically you will be transferred to the spiritual world. And there will no more bodies, only spiritual body, eternal body. So this is what we have done. Tiraskrita, Vipralabdha, and the best example, Pandavas. Pandavas were cheated in the game of dice, where Sakuni played instead of Duryodhana. So many things happened. And also after everything was over, when they came back to acquire the 5 villages, at the time they did not give. And then what did Arjuna say? Arjuna said, I want to go and beg. I don't want to fight the battle. Krishna only wanted to establish the dharma. He wanted to establish Yada Yada Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharat. Avyuktana Madharmasya Tadatmanam Sajamya. Just to establish dharma samsthapanarthaya, Krishna said he motivated Arjuna to fight for the battle in the field of Kurukshetra. So this is what we have to understand. How come the devotees? But you don't have to worry. Materially we may be impoverished, but spiritually you are empowered. And that's what we can see. Bhishmadev is telling very nicely. How kashtam, how anyayam. He says, how you have suffered so much, my dear, in the forest and all, Can you imagine? There was no religious festival done for Arjuna and all. Up to 14 years, nothing was done. He was suffering like anything. When they came to the kingdom also, they could not do any. The samskaras, especially thread ceremony, then Simanda ceremony, so many ceremonies, Abdapurti, which is first year ceremony, nothing was done. They suffered a loss. They suffered. And then why, even though they suffered, they tolerated all this. And that's why he says, why? Because they took shelter of 3 things. They took shelter of Vipra Dharma Achyuta Ashraya, 1:9:12. I'll put this word so that it may be helpful for you. So they were sheltered with Dharma, Vipra. They were sheltered under sages and saints and Brahmanas. And then Dharma, following the principles of Bhagavata Dharma, and Achyuta Ashraya, they were always under the shelter of Krishna. And that's why they were able to go through, even though they are cheated, they were able to tolerate. Okay, as a devotee, you will be cheated. In this material world, you will be cheated by your own family, your own father, your own mother, your own sister-in-law, your own daughter-in-law. Everybody will cheat you. That is the nature of the material world. If they don't cheat you, Maharaj says, you should be surprised. And therefore, don't worry about this. Ultimately, we have to take shelter of Krishna. Because we don't want to get cheated again in this material world. So we want to stop this cheating permanently. How to stop this cheating permanently? By taking the holy names of the Lord and become a devotee of the Lord, and don't take back again the birth in this material and get cheated in this material. So this is what very important. And Prabhupada writes in the, as long as a person, the purport, fully in cooperation with the wishes of the Lord, guided by the bona fide Brahmanas, and strictly following the religious principles, one has no cause for despondency. However trying the circumstances of life, as one of the authorities wanted to impress this point. So, as long as they're fully in cooperation with the Lord. So, we have to be in cooperation with the Lord. That means we have to do the devotion service nicely. And that's what is very important. So, and in this point regarding the cheating, I would like to say one thing. This cheating doesn't mean they have to be very careful, especially in the current generation, children and all this. It's very important. When we do, suppose you want to give the gift to the child, you have to be very careful, Prabhuji and Matajis. Do the settlement. Settlement means after the husband leaves, it should go to the mother, from the mother to the children. Don't give directly to the children. Because what has happened, one girl, one lady, 70-year-old lady, she gave the property, she told, she had a property, that's about 40-50 lakhs, which is enough for her to manage her interest. And what has happened, her son told, because the father died, the son told, the property is in your name, joint name, let us sell it and put the money in the bank account, I will take care of you in America. He told like that. And then what happened, she believed and he sold. And the money was transferred to his account, from our account. After the transfer to his account, then this fellow, which is account with his wife, he went to the airport, took her to the airport and dropped her. He said that I will come in 5 minutes. And he boarded the flight and went. He didn't buy the tickets. He just showed the passport and he didn't show the ticket also. She doesn't know. And she was stranded. And some relatives, brother or somebody took care of her. She is managing. So that's why devotee means he is alert. Cheating doesn't mean that you should get cheated by your own family and all. You have to be very careful. Don't allow cheating to happen to you in your lives. Your birthright, you should take it. And therefore, before you give to the children also, be intelligent. Because these children, nowadays, they put you in the old age homes and they don't care for you. So now it's very difficult, You cannot believe the current generation children. Because they don't have any attachment for father and mother. This is a fact, Devotee or non-devotee, everything is the same. So this is what is happening. Current situation is like that. So it is very important for us to understand that we should not be getting cheated. So very intelligent, keep the money in your deposit and and sometimes you have to trust your son also. Doesn't mean that you don't trust your son. There is also, there are extremes. There are parents who doesn't trust the children and they suffer. Because they don't trust the children. And the children has taken care of them for so many years and then they don't believe. That is also not correct. So this type of things, this extreme or extreme should not be there. But we should be intelligent enough to know whom to trust, whom not to trust. So it is very important for us to understand. So then next is Saptaha, being cursed. So in this material world, as I said, when you are defamed, you will be cursed also. It's natural. People will curse you in office and all. No, you have to be very strict with your subordinates sometimes, and they will curse you. And so many people. And I worked with one fellow who was a scheduled tribe fellow. He was working under me in HPCL in Delhi. I was in Connaught Place. So what has happened? I used to give him some letters. 2-3 letters I give him, per day. I don't give him more than that. He will say, एक दिन में एक चिट्ठी करूंगा, दूसरा नहीं करूंगा. And that too, so many mistakes he'll make. English doesn't know. He doesn't know English. He knows only. He makes so many mistakes and I have to correct the whole day. And I told him once. And I told my chief manager, this fellow, okay, I don't mind if he does mistakes. But his attitude is very bad. I cannot deal with it. When I told, then he immediately went and complained to the union. And they came, all the people came. And they fought with me. And I said that what I'm asking him, he is coming from 9:45, 9:30 he is coming, up to 5 o'clock he is working. What I'm asking him, 3 letters a day. I'm not asking 100 letters he has to give. These 3 letters he cannot type in the typewriter. He has got higher typing first. So why not he type properly with he cannot check it. So at the time, and then the union understood, and they said that the mistake is on that fellow, and the union fellow is also a scheduled tribe fellow. He said that his name is Ashok Kumar Meena. Meena, you are not doing the right thing. You have to type 5 letters a day. Otherwise, don't come and complain wrongly about Sai Kumar. My name is Sai Kumar. No? So at the time, so he told me. And then this Meena became very upset. He cursed me. Oh, aapka ye hoga, ye hoga, ye ho gaya, ho gaya. Because he was defeated. So he cursed. So the curse is inevitable in this material world. So we have to take the curse. So we cannot do anything. You will be cursed in this material world. Because out of envy, out of so many things. So that's why Prabhuji Mataji's curse will not happen. Will not just like Shringi Rishi, there is no not so powerful. Unless your destiny and karma, you have to suffer, you will suffer. But otherwise, these curses of the current Kali Yuga people, nothing will work. Because they are themselves polluted. So it will not work. Unless you are a saint, very big person like Shringi was a powerful Brahmana. So he was able to curse. Not all the curse will happen. So it is very important. Shaptaham. And the best example from the pages of the Bhagavatam is Chitraketu. The Chitraketu Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord. So what has happened? He has got 10 million wives, almost 1 crore wives. But he has no child. So he was so morose, he was depressed. The whole kingdom was morose. No celebration, nothing, because no child. Because without a child, the kingdom lacks any, any type of jubilation or anything. So naturally, he was very much affected. He was completely, what I would say, that depressed, and the whole community, everybody was grieving him, and he was in a grief position. At that time, Angirasa Muni and Narada Muni came. When Narada Muni came, then they told that, he said that my main problem. He said, why you are morose? You are a king. You should be happy. Your citizens are doing bad. You are getting taxes. You are paying everything. You are taking care of everything. What is the worry? Why there is a worry for you? No, I don't have a child. This is not a big concern. Why you worry for the child? If you deserve, you will get it. Otherwise, you will not get it. No, I require a child. He persisted and insisted and forced Angirasa Muni, you have to give me. He said, I can give you, but the child will be called Ashashoka. He will be Ashashoka. Ashashoka means he will be the source of your distress and he will be the source of happiness for you. Asha means happiness. Shoka means distress. Both he will be a child. This is what will happen to you. He said, no, this fellow, I will have a child. That's what he thought. Asha Shoka, he doesn't bother. So yeah, happiness, distress will be there in the material. It doesn't matter. Okay, child will be there. So immediately they gave a mango, and that mango was taken by one of the kings, Dutiti, Kritadyuti. The Kritadyuti took, it is in 6th canto. So she took the mango and she became pregnant, and the child was born. And because she became pregnant, all the other were barren. All the other women were barren, queens were barren. He neglected them. So disturbed by negligence, that is also there. No, there is Kida, Viplada, Shipta, Shapta. Saptaha, Shipta. Shipta means neglected by ignoring them. So he ignored all the other wives. So naturally, these wives, they were not getting any attention from the king. Kurudaduti, he was running up to Kurudaduti. Because she was pregnant, he was taking care of her nicely and all. And finally, she gave birth to him. And the whole attention was, the whole kingdom was jubilant, everything was happy. So he was pampering his wife and his son. And he ignored the million wives. It is his gross mistake. Of course, it's a gross mistake. As a king, he has got so many ways, he has to take care and satisfy all of them. He failed in his duty. So what has happened? So this fellow, he became, all the million wives, they became very unhappy. They planned, they hatched a plan. What they did, they said, I will give poison to the child, and the child will die, and then he will come and attend to us. So this is also wrong. So this is because of envy. Okay? So they want to put down Kritadyuti and the child also, and also put down this defame. So they want to kill the child so that they will get attention. You understand? So attention, because they are neglected, they become offended by it. So what has happened? They poisoned the child and the child died. The moment the child died, the child was motionless. The one of the servant maid told, the child is motionless. It is dead. Then the whole kingdom became bloom with sorrow and what I can say that with deep sorrow and regret and frustration and crying and mourning. And then Chitraketu and his wife were mourning. The whole kingdom was hearing. Whole, in the case of death happens, whole house will be crying. The same way, the whole kingdom was crying. Everybody was crying. And then they were very upset. He doesn't know this is done by these queens. He doesn't know. So what has happened? He cried, and they were completely morose again, depressed. So source of happiness and distress. Angirasa Muni told, but he couldn't understand. At the time, again Angirasa Muni comes. He gives an instructions. At the time, initially he gave Bhagavad Gita, but nothing went into his head. So then he thought, now I will give. So he told that now what has happened, why is happened? And then he said, I want my son. Without my son, I cannot be happy. Whatever instruction, nothing will go into my head, or nothing will go into my ears. So you tell me what to do. Then immediately Narada Muni said, I'll give birth to the child. I'll give life to the child. And let us see. So he gave life to the child. The child came up. The child woke up from sleep. And then Krita Dyuti and Chitraketu hugged the child. Oh, my child, you have come back, you have come back. The child started speaking. They become completely bewildered. The child started speaking and said that, wow, who are you? Why are you hugging me? Why are you giving me milk? I don't know you. Why are you coming and hugging me? What is the purpose of your hugging me? I don't know you. I am your father. I am your mother. Which life you are my father and mother? And it started giving Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita class. I changed so many bodies, and there were so many fathers and mothers, and you are one among them. I don't know you. The child has forgotten. Immediately after the death, it is forgotten. The moment it gave Bhagavatam, the Chitraketu came to realization. And then the child died again. And then he came, what is this child which I loved so much, with so much of preciousness time I spent on him. And now this child says, I am not your father and mother. So this disturb, the negligence by the child has affected the Kritadyuti and Chitraketu. Chitraketu lamented. And then at the time, Angirasa Muni and Narada Muni gave instruction that we are not this body. And then they gave the essence of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. These are all temporary. This soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and it cannot remain what has happened to the previous, right? They cannot remember. That's how the life is. So many instructions are there, very wonderful instruction. So after hearing all this instruction, Chitraketu become a devotee. He said, no, I want to become perfect. So he said that I want to worship Sankarsana. He started worshipping Lord Sankarsana under the instruction of Narada Muni and Angirasa Muni, and they became the spiritual master. He was completely absorbed. Because of his absorption and trance and meditation, Sankarsana came in front of him. The moment Sankarsana came, he became enlivened. And then 6th canto, 16th chapter, he started glorifying the Lord in the verse, praying to the Lord. Wonderful. Ajita 6:16:51, I think. So from there, he started glorifying Krishna, Chitraketu. Wonderful glorification. Wonderful explanation on the Lord. So he became completely purified of all contamination. There is no contaminated consciousness. Samtyak Vivaste Hamale. So he was able to see Krishna, Sankarshan, personal darshan of the Lord, and he became completely purified. Then because a complete purification of the existence happened, so he had the darshan of the Lord, and he was able to pray. He completely forgot that he was a child. He has got 10 million wives. Everything is forgotten. And then what has happened? He became a pure devotee of the Lord. And then he became a Vidyadhara, and he was empowered by Lord Sankarsana to become Vidyadhara. And then he traveled all the places. And one day, by chance, his devotional service has got impact. He's going to see, we are going to see. So what has happened? He went to the Kailasha and he saw Lord Shiva and Parvati were sitting together. And Parvati was sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is giving instructions of Bhagavatam to the sages and saints. So they were not affected. Parvati was not affected. Lord Shiva was not affected. It doesn't matter that Parvati was sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva. But however, this Chitraketu, because of some feelings, it's a minor only, he started laughing. And he says, how these people have come to this position. And then there are so many reasons. I don't want to go into the reasons. So he immediately made a rebuke and fun, defame Lord Shiva, So he defamed Lord Shiva, that he's speaking Bhagavatam and he's sitting, the wife sitting in his lap. So the moment he told like that, then all the sages, and Shiva, Lord Shiva is Vaishnavana Madhamsam. We saw that Prajapati Daksha. Lord Shiva is not affected. He was giving back. Because Vaishnavana Meta Shamu, topmost Vaishnava, he doesn't care. Taraskata, Vipra, Labda, Shipta, Shapta, Tapi, he doesn't care. He was continuing his Bhagavatam. But and also because of his Bhagavatam absorption, because he was influenced by the Lord Shiva, he influenced the sages also. The sages were also not affected by the statements of Chitrake. But Parvati Mata took the stand. She says that a pure Vaishnava should not be ridiculed. She wants to correct the situation. And then what she did? She did curse Chitraketu that you become an arrogant fellow. So now you are chastising, you are rebuking, and you are defaming Lord Shiva, and therefore you deserve to become Ashura. You don't deserve to be a king. You don't deserve to be a Kshatriya. You deserve to become a demon. And therefore he was called Vritrasura. So he became a Vritrasura, and the next life he was liberated. But since he has the absorption in Krishna, so he made a mistake. Okay, he made a mistake. Like Parishit Maharaj, he made a mistake. This is a slight mistake. But he was cursed to demon. This also not correct. And in fact, Lord Shiva says, why you are cursing him? Why you are cursing him like this? Lord Shiva was not happy at all. And then he used to glorify her. How? And then how he reacted is very important. It is 6:17:17. So when Parvati Mata cursed him, he says, Chitraketu, 6:17:17. The beautiful verse. When time permits, you read the purport and translation and all. I'll just read the verse and translation. Chitraketu vacha pradigannami te shapam atmano anjalambike dever matyet yat proktam purvadishtam idi tasyayat. Chitraketu vacha pratigannami, I accept. This is a beautiful statement. Pratigannami means he says, I am accepting. Atmana, with folded hands. And he says, Ambike, oh mother. He calls her mother. Somebody is cursing. Okay. Parvati Mata is cursing to become an Ashura. He was just at the darshan of the Lord. Lord Shankrishna has given him darshan. Okay. He just had the darshan of the Lord and he prayed to the Lord. He was a pure devotee of the Lord. He was completely purified. And how he reacts. Because of that, he made a mistake, small mistake. But the influence of Krishna consciousness protected him. And he didn't react. He says, you are my mother and you are cursing me, I am accepting. Pradigrignami, I accept the curse. With folded hands, he accepts the curse. So, anyway, I am going to die. So he says, I do not mind the curse for happiness and distress given by the demigods as a result of unpiety. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Chitraketu was a devotee of the Lord. He was not at all disturbed by the curse of Mother Parvati. He knew very well. So, Shapta was cursed. So, he was not disturbed. One suffers and enjoys. Deva Netra, superior authority. So, Parvati yet he has been punished. This means the punishment has been ordained. So, he says he knew that he had not committed any offense at the Lord of Lord Shiva. It's just a remark. That's all. Or Goddess Parvati. Yet he has been punished. That means it is ordained by the Lord. Thus, the king did not mind it. A devotee is naturally humble and meek to accept the condition, any condition of life, blessing from the Lord. So he accepted the curse. So this is what we have to understand, that we have to know counteraction is the best action. Somebody curses us, we cannot do anything. Don't do counter curse. Just ignore. Because if you counter curse, it will have impact. You lose your piety. You lose your pious deeds. So just ignore them. It will not affect, especially Kali Yuga, no effect of the curse. Very rarely it does get effect. Because all the Kali Yuga people are completely polluted, no? Except pure devotees of the Lord. Whatever others say, nothing will go. So that's what. And then next is Shiptaha, disturbed by negligence. Prabhuji and Mataji. In this world, the moment we expect somebody to be attention to us, that is foolishness. You will be negligent. People will be negligent in this world. Your son, your own daughter, everybody is engrossed in so many problems. Prabhuji and Mataji. This is the lesson we have to learn. So we should not expect nirapeksham. The moment we expect people to be attentive to us, it is not possible in this material. Prabhuji's and mothers, please understand this one point. The moment we expect, we suffer. If you make the expectation less, we cannot make it zero. Expectation less, then we are saved. The moment we expect more, we are frustrated in this life. So negligence is inevitable in this material. And this is because, especially now, if you see, there is no unity between husband, wife, children and all. Why? Children is in one WhatsApp, son is in PlayStation, and the daughter is in WhatsApp, is in Instagram, and mother is in Twitter. So each one is operating independently. Nobody wants, they got so many friends in the Twitter and they got time, but they don't have time for their own family. And they have become negligent. And this negligence as resulted in the children are not being taken care of, and the children become addicts, the children become very bad, they behave badly, all this because the father and mother has to be. Please, the negligent, therefore we cannot be negligent. Don't spend too much time on this WhatsApp, Twitter and all this. We have very limited time. The death is going to cheat you at the time of death. The body is going to cheat you at the time of death. So it is going to cheat you. And therefore, we have to be very careful. We cannot be negligent. So two things we have to understand. You will be neglected. Don't worry about it. But you don't neglect anybody. Please take care of him. Please be attentive. But if they behave very badly to you, you have to be negligent one day. Correct? We have to be very practical. We try to persuade and tell some people, and they take your advice in the reverse manner. Then we have to be negligent. We have to avoid it. But most of the time, don't be negligent. So one is that we should be taking care of everybody, but don't expect expect negligence from other people. Don't expect anything. The minimum expectation. Maharaj was so much. Somebody used to, because he has a hunchback. So what he used to do, somebody used to lift him to the lift. And he says, sorry, thank you. So this is how we have to express gratitude the whole of our lifetime. Somebody is taking care of you, be thankful. That will give solace to the living. So negligence, we have to be very careful. You will be neglected. But you have to accept this fact, you will be neglected. Okay? And especially when you become old, nobody is interested in you. I am a perfect example. Nobody wants you. So this is the nature of the material. So therefore, we have to accept this fact. And therefore, don't become negligent of Krishna. So Krishna should not neglect you. And that should be our goal. Therefore, we should go towards Krishna. The moment we get attached to Krishna, then detachment comes. And this detachment will make you not expect anything from anybody. This is the word of Shipta. So these are all very, 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 Bhagavatam is so practical, Prabhuji. It is not in the air. It is not in the cloud. Bhagavatam is so practical, down to earth, examples from the pages. Please remember this. So don't expect, my son has to ring, my daughter has to ring, my daughter-in-law has to speak to me, my son-in-law has to speak to me, my sister-in-law has to speak to me, my brother-in-law has to speak to me, my husband has to speak to me, my son has to speak to me. All these expectations don't have. Minimum expectation. Minimize your expectation. In your life, you will be neglected. That is natural in this material world. If you are not neglected, our Maharaj says, you should be surprised. If you are not neglected, you should be surprised. So this is what we have to understand. Shiptaha. Best example is Mahatma Vidura. Mahatma Vidura was ignored by Dhritarashtra, was ignored by Duryodhana. But what he did, I don't want to go into the details. We are already 9 o'clock. So Mahatma Vidura, such an exalted, he was thrown out. Bhagavatam tells 3.1.16 says Gatam Yataha. We discussed this matter before. So he was thrown out of the kingdom. So he was thrown out of the kingdom, neglected. And his words were never taken seriously by Duryodhana. Neglect means what? You take the instruction and you don't apply it. And you don't act on it. What has happened? That is also negligence. So this negligence also is one term. Maharaj says, suppose you want to ignore somebody, automatically become negligent towards them. That's why And therefore, the living entities, therefore, it is our duty not to be negligent to anybody. We have to be very, very warm to everybody. That is very important for the devotion. Devotees and mothers. Don't be negligent. If they are very abrasive in nature, then we may have to go away from that. But as long as they are struggling, we should help. You don't be negligent, but you don't expect everyone should take care of. This is what the principle for. These are a very practical. Maharaj went deep into this verse and he's given deep realization. I'm just sharing this realization. Nothing is my own realization. My realization is zero. Maybe one or two examples. The practical example I'm putting minimal. 90% is Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj instruction. As it is, I'm trying to say. So it is very important for us to understand. And then best is Ataha. And best Vidura neglected. But what did you do? He says, Saumya Anusokri Bhagavatam 3.141 he says, 3.141 he says to Uddhava, Saumya Anusoche. I'm thinking constantly about Dhritarashtra. If this fellow neglected him, throw him out. And they told him, but Vidura was so powerful. Mahabharata says, it is so powerful. Mahabharata says, very, very powerful, that Vidura is capable of destroying the entire Pandava. Arjuna is nothing in front of him. Vidura was so powerful personality. But you know, Duryodhana, because of his own tongue, he created such a problem for himself. So he created such a problem for himself. And then because of his tongue, he threw Vidura out. These are all Krishna's plan. And you know how he behaved. The 3.116 is very important. Gatabhyataha. He was hurt. He was hurt. Definitely he was hurt. With the sharp words from Duryodhana. And Dhritarashtra did not say. Because Dhritarashtra pampered his son. So the pampering of the son has created a big problem for Vidura. See, not only he lost the battle, he lost one of the big ministers who was an excellent fighter. Can you imagine? Just because pampering the son. So don't pamper too much on your children. And this is what the Bhagavatam tells us. Because Duryodhana was pampered Dhritarashtra unnecessarily. You have to pamper your children. You have to take care of your children. But doesn't mean that pamper too much. And this pampering has resulted in the catastrophe of the entire the Kaurava war. The Mahabharata war is because of Dhritarashtra's mentality. And this mentality is very, very bad. Because if he has taken care of, attentive to the Vidura, then this war could have been avoided. Give 5 villages and Pandavas could have been happy and they could have been happy. And they could have lived. 64 crores will not have died. And then Dhritarashtra, after the death also, then he says, I'm thinking of them. And he says, he offended me, he threw me out, he was neglectful for the Pandavas, he offended the Vaishnavas, he offended me as a spiritual master, and then he followed the footsteps of Samanavartena. Says he was Putra Samanavartena. He was following the footsteps of his sons. But even then, I am a Sugurt, he says. 3.141, he says, I am a Sugurt. So I am the well-wisher. So I am a well-wisher and I am going back to him. I am a well-wisher. I go back to him and Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra was liberated by Vidura. Can you imagine? The person was neglected him and he threw him out and he insulted him, defamed also. He was defamed. He was thrown out, neglected. Tiraskirta, Vipralapta. He was cheated. Everything was done to him. But even then, what he did? He did. That's very important. He came back and gave Bhagavatam to Dhritarashtra and liberated him from the material bondage. See the amount of, that is the forbearance. So, Prabhavapi, Vidura was powerful to curse Duryodhana, powerful to curse Dhritarashtra. But, Vipralabdha Shipta Nasyatat Priti Gurmanti. No counteraction. Prabhavapi means he is very powerful. Vidura is extremely, he is Yamaraj himself. Such a powerful personality. Yamaraj incarnation, ordinary living entity? No. He's not an ordinary living entity like us. Such a powerful personality. Such a powerful archer. He can win with Arjuna like anything. Nothing. Arjuna cannot stand in front of him. So this is very important. And Gatabhyata. Vidura saw Krishna's internal energy working on him and the external energy. So internal energy said, don't counteract. External energy worked on Duryodhana, he said, I will counteract, I will destroy, I will dispatch my Chitapa out of this town. I will drive Vaidura out. That was the mood of, because the external energy, Maya, envy, anger, everything put into the hand of Duryodhana. Because of the anger, we don't know what we are speaking. So that's what happened for Duryodhana. But here, internal energy. So internal energy means no contraction. Krishna consciousness. He said, I will go and pilgrimage and purify. And because he purified, he associated with Maitreya Muni, he came back. So Vidura is glorified. Duryodhana is not glorified in the pages of the Bhagavatam. You understand the point? So that's what very important. He didn't counteract. And then he went back and he became a Suguru. So that is the quality of the person. So neglected person. So this is what we have done. And then Ataha. Ataha means best is Parikshit Maharaj. What did Parikshit Maharaj do? Ataha, killed. He says in 119.14, which is going to come now. Tasya megassa paravaresho vyasakta chittas ataha. So in this material world, in Kali Yuga, so many killings are happening. So people kill you with words. People kill you personally. And then that's why you can see the father is killing the son is killing the father. So many killings are going on here, you know. In fact, in Tamil Nadu, what has happened? The law and order is so bad that one inspector was hacked to death by two young fellows. 15, 16-year-old fellow, an inspector around 45, 50, was hacked to death. You know, in the daylight. They took him to the some into the forest and they killed him. They lynched him and killed him. It has happened in Tamil Nadu. So killing is bound to happen. And then personally now people are not killing, but they are killing by words, by killing by curse, by defaming them also. So these words hurt us. You know, that's almost like killing. So Vidura's heart was like killing him, but he didn't take it seriously. So that's why Ataha, Parikshit Maharaj was cursed. How did he took the curse, Parikshit Maharaj? Parikshit was going to be killed. And then he says, Paravaresho, Krishna is the supreme controller. Vyasakta, I am totally attached to my family. Chittesya, Nirveda Mulo. My root of attachment to this family, kingdom and all is completely destroyed. Dvijasaparupa in the form of Shringi. So he's glorifying the Shringi. Can you imagine? He is glorifying Shringi that I am going to be killed. And this is the mood of detachment. You know, this is very important. Sometimes we are forced in the material world with so many problems, and that should give us the detachment. And that is not so easy, Prabhuji. I am also going through a lot of problems, but I am not getting the detachment. Why? Because I am not doing executing pure devotion. So Parikshit Maharaj, he took it as a blessings. He says very nicely, graciously overtaken. Gracious means he took it as a grace. He took it as a mercy, Krishna's mercy. The Shringi's curse, he took it as a mercy that I will go and hear Bhagavatam and purify and go back to God. So we don't do like that. We are frustrated everywhere in the material world. But what we do, we try to solve the problem in the material world. Oh, this can be solved, this can be solved, that can be solved. And that's what I am trying to do it. But that is not going to give any result. I should get frustrated with this material. So that's why we are pessimistic about this material world. Prabhupada writes in 13th chapter, 8th verse, we should be pessimistic about material life. And that's what we have to do. So we have to be hopeful, definitely. It doesn't mean that, too much pessimism also is not good. But Prabhupada says, unless we are pessimistic about material life, there is no impetus for spiritual life. Unless you are frustrated with material life, why Prabhupada says, in the case of Parikshit Maharaj, he was a Mahabharata. Nothing going to affect him. He's already liberated. He's already detached. This curse is only a pastime for Krishna, so that he can give Bhagavatam to everybody. That's all. That's the whole objective. Because he is detached. He was never unattached. But in case of us, we are all attached. So, Nirveda Mulo Dvijasaparam, Etta Prashuto Bhayamashrudate. So that is the only way to get out of this material world. So this is what we have to understand, that Parikshit Maharaj was killed, but he didn't react. So Tiraskrita, defamed. Vipralabdha, cheated. Then Saptaha, just. Shiptaha, neglected. And then Ataha. Ataha means killed. So all these things are going to be there. Therefore, the best example and what we have to understand is that sometimes no counteraction is best. It is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. There are other stories to tell, but anyway, I am controlled by time. So Dronacharya, son Ashwatthama, put Narayana Astra in the battlefield. At the time, what to do? Krishna said, only way to get rid of this Narayana Astra, no counteraction. Don't take your weapons. If Narayana Astra was faced, you will all die. The whole Pandava army will die. He said, just put all your arrows and bows aside and fall at the feet of Narayana Astra. No counteraction. And he fall at the feet, and then Narayana Astra did not do anything. So no counteraction is the best. And that's what we have to do from the pages of the Bhagavatam. And there are so many things. And then the best example is that our Haridas Thakur was caned 22 times in marketplaces. He was whipped with a cane in 22. He was about to die. But even then he told Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please pardon them. They are doing innocent. They are not responsible for that. Please ignore them. And that is the quality of the devotee. He was about to be killed by this. There are other pastimes also, but we are controlled by that. So that's why it is very important for us to understand. And the best example, with that I will finish. Prabhuji, can I take 5 minutes, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhuji, it's a Saturday.
Okay, Saturday. Very good. So, this verse, with that we'll finish. So, you see, Tiraskirda, Vipralabdha, we have seen different examples, correct? We saw Lord Shiva, Tiraskirda, Vipralabdha being cheated to Pandavas, Shaptaha, Chitraketu, Shiptaha neglected Vidura, and then Ataha, Parishit Maharaj, we saw. Now, all these happened to one devotee. Can somebody tell me from the basis of the Bhagavatam? We are going to discuss, and Krishna himself telling this verse. Can you tell me one devotee? Which happened all the 5 cases. Tiraskirna, Vipralabdha, Shiptaha, Ata, Shaptaha, Shiptaha, Atapi. All the 5 things happened. Anybody remembers from the pages of the Bhagavatam?
Prabhuji, Bhakt Prahlad.
Bhakta Prahlad, not exactly correct, because he was not cheated and all. There was no cheating for him. He was killed and everything, but he was not cursed also.
There was a Brahmin.
He was defamed. He was not cheated. He was defamed, but he was not cheated. They could not cheat him because he was fully Krishna conscious.
There was a Brahmin who was dealt like this.
Who?
In Bhagavatam, there is a Brahmin story. He was very greedy initially. Then he.
11th again. Okay. But in that case, there was no curse for him, and he was not killed. Okay, he was cheated. That was okay. Not all the 5 I am talking about. He was not cursed. He was not killed. He was only cheated and defamed. They did defame and they cheated him all the money. That's what happened.
Then it should be Vritrasura, Prabhuji. Last option.
Vritrasura was not cursed. Already Chitraketu is cursed, no? Vritrasura was not cursed. Vritrasura was not defamed. He was glorified actually in the base of Bhagavatam. He was not defamed. And then, in fact, Indra is feeling embarrassed in front of him. You know, that's what Bhagavatam glorifies Vritrasura, because he was a great devotee of the Lord. So, because even the previous life he was Chitraketu. So, Vritrasura was not cursed. Chitraketu was cursed. Vritrasura was not cursed. Vritrasura was defeated. Of course, he was defeated. And then there is no cheating for him. There is no cheating. There is no negligence. Nothing was there. Indra was fully attentive to him. There was no negligence. And there was a big fight and all. So, exactly, Mataji, you got it. Uma Pratap Mataji ki jai. It's Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj, I'll tell you the one. It's
Prabhuji, we cannot hear you. You turned your head.
I'm taking the verse. 8th canto, 22nd chapter, 29 and 30. Okay. This verse is very important. Can we put that verse, Prabhu? 29, 30. Can you put this verse? With that, we will close this class. 8, 22, 29, 30. 28, 29. No, not like that. You put 8, 22 29:30. We have to put a dash. 29-30. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Okay. So here, go to the verse. We'll go to the verse. Please go to the verse before we do. क्षीणरिक्तश्च्युतस्थानात् क्षिप्तो बद्धश्च शत्रुभिः जातिपिस्तपरित्यक्तो यातानामनुयापितः गुरुणा बृहस्पतिः शाप्तो जक्यो सत्यं न सुहृतः चलेरुक्तो मया धर्मो नायं तजसि सत्यवाक्. This verse is spoken by Lord Vamana. See this. Although bereft of his riches, that means he was defamed, fallen from his original position. That means his own soldiers neglected him, defeated and arrested by his enemies. So defamed. Okay? Tiraskirta, Vipralabdha. Both has happened. Rebuked and deserted by his relatives and friends. So cheated by his own relatives and friends who were supposed to, they cheated him. They deserted. They cheated. So Tiraskirta, defamed, Vipralabdha, cheated, and then Saptaha. Saptaha means he was cursed. He was cursed by who?
Shukracharya.
Shukracharya cursed. That you go to Sutala planet. So cursed. Shiptaha, he was neglected by his relatives. Okay. Shiptaha, Ata. And he is going to be killed by Krishna, Vamana Dev, and going to send to the Sutala planet. Okay. All the 5 things happened. So he is, although suffering the pain of being bound, although rebuked and cursed by his spiritual master, Bali Maharaj, being fixed in his vow, did not give up his truthfulness. It was certainly, now what Krishna is telling you, see, Krishna's statement, with pretension, he cheated also. That I spoke religious principle. I came as a Vamana and conquered the entire 3 worlds. He says, I cheated him. I cheated him. I came as small bottle. 4-year-old Brahmana I came, 8-year-old Brahmana I came, and then I expanded the whole universe and I spanned with one hand, one leg, the earthly planet and the upper planets. So I cheated him with pretension. Pretension is the word, very good. Can you go up little? Chalai word is very important. Pretentiously. I came as a pretentious. And then read the purport. Somebody can read the purport, then we can close.
Ji Prabhuji. Bali Maharaj passed the severe test put before him by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is further proof of the Lord's mercy towards his devotee. The Supreme Personality of Godhead sometimes puts a devotee to severe tests that are almost unbearable. One could hardly even live under the conditions forced upon Bali Maharaja. That Bali Maharaja endured all these severe tests and austerities is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord certainly appreciates the devotee's forbearance, and it is recorded for the future glorification of the devotee. This was not an ordinary test. As described in this verse, hardly anyone could survive such a test. But for the future glorification of Bali Maharaja, one of the Mahajanas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead not only tested him, but also gave him the strength to tolerate such adversity. The Lord is so kind to his devotees that when severely testing him, the Lord gives him the necessary strength to be tolerant and continue to remain a glorious devotee.
Wonderful. See here, Krishna, see how Krishna tricked. Why tricked? I will tell you what are the tricks he did. The first trick is, okay, the first trick we did with Krishna, because he tells Aditi Mata, when he prayed that Indra has to be protected, Aditi Mata, he says, I have to find a maid. So first trick he made, that I cannot fight with this. He fought with all the demons. Okay, he fought with Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, everybody he fought personally. But in this case, he said, I cannot fight. And then he has to take another route. I have to go and beg. I will go and beg from him. By begging charity, I will capture him. So that means cheating. He has to beg charity. Whatever he has to take it and keep it. Why he has to take the entire span of the world? So that is a cheating on part of Krishna. No, why he did it? Because he want to glorify the devotee. So I will cheat my own devotee only for future glorification. And then what he said, I am going to be there in Sutala planet. See, the second cheating is, the first cheating is this. Okay, he came as boy and begged for the land and spanned. The second cheating is, he did not send him to Sutala planet. He made Sukracharya to curse him. He didn't interfere in that curse. See, this Krishna is super intelligent, you know. Vamana is very intelligent, super intelligent. He says, I don't want to curse because he is a devotee of my Lord and he is protected to Brahmana. So therefore, I don't have any right to curse him. And I don't have any right to send him to Sutala planet. See my position. I am embarrassed. I cannot do. So I will use Sukracharya to curse him. See, oh, Chalak Krishna is, he says, Sukracharya, you curse him. And then because of Sukracharya's curse, you are going to Sutala planet. Krishna did not send him to Sutala planet. See, they imagine such a wonderful intelligence by Krishna. So you want the future glorification of the devotee, even though you give the strength. And Prabhupada suffered so much from his own God brothers, from his own devotees, from his own disciples. But still he continued for 11 years of zeal. Hridaya, what is that verse? He was Dhrito Hari. He has caught hold of the Lord with great zeal. And therefore, he was not deterred by anything. He was also, Prabhupada is an example, Tiraskrita. Tiraskrita means he was defamed. He was defamed by his own godbrothers. Cheated. His own god. There was one typewriter, one security fellow in the street, in the 64th street in New York. He took away the typewriter, he took away the papers, he took away the Bhagavatam set and threw it. He cheated him. Saptaha. So many people, so many devotees he made. American disciples, young disciples. All the fathers cursed him. You will not stay in one place. He said, I am accept the curse. Saptaha, Shiptaha. He was neglected. All his god brothers neglected him. Nobody was supporting him. Tiraskirta, Vipralapta, Shapta, Shipta, Ata. They tried to kill him also because they became envious of him. But Prabhupada never reacted. So Prabhupada and Bali Maharaj, I don't think there is no fine difference between them. But Prabhupada lived in the current Yuga and Bali Maharaj lived so many years. And then he went to Sutala planet. And even though Sutala planet was sent by Shukracharya, he said that, so I have cheated him twice. One is through Vamana, second I cheated him through Shukracharya. Now I will become his messenger. I will become 24 hours messenger as a god. Because I have cheated him, I am indebted to him. He is my devotee, so I have become indebted to him. And therefore he says, Sutala planet, if you go, you have to see Lord Vamana standing there as a god. And he says to Bali Maharaj, yes, sir, how can I serve you? Can you imagine? Because he tolerated no counteraction. So this is what we understand from this essence of this verse. So we don't waste time in counteraction. The nature of the world is to defame you. The nature of the world is to cheat you. The nature of the world is to curse you. The nature of the world is to neglect you. The nature of the world may kill you. But by words or anything. So we, as a devotee, Tad Bhakta Prabho Api. Even though we are powerful, we don't recurse them. We go towards Krishna. And that should be our objective. That's what we should try from this verse and try to apply whatever the best possible Prabhuji to Mataji. In case of cheating also, don't get cheated by your children also. That also we have to be very careful. So that is also very finer point to understand, Our Maharaj says, don't get cheated by your own children also. This is very important point. Okay. All your daughter-in-law and all, we may love them, anybody, but they are after your property. They may not be after you. They may be after your property. You have to be very careful. So you give it as a settlement. In fact, actually one advocate told me, settlement is the best. Settlement means the son cannot take your property till you are alive, till your wife is alive. Then only they can take the property. Afterwards, let it go to them. No problem. So they don't have any right to deal with the property or sell the property. So these are all the final things which I told from the lawyer point of view. So contemplate on this. No counteraction is the best action. And that's why we can go towards Krishna. Anvachamana. We have to run towards Krishna. And we should not waste time with this. And we get stuck in this material world. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarupescha kripasindhu bevacha patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namaha. Any questions, any realizations, please share.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Very nice and
somebody has question.
purified.
I'll go through it. Amit Sethi has question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maharaj Chitraketu is a pure devotee of the Lord, disciple of Nandamuni, got darshan of Shri Krishna. But even after that, why he has done Vaishnava Aparad, defaming Lord Shiva? Yes. If there is any subtle reason behind that, please explain. Wonderful question, Prabhu. Amit Sethi, Prabhu, wonderful question. Actually, what has happened, what we can say, Bhagavatam tells, 6th canto says, it was, what I would say, it is, see, these people, they don't make blunders. They don't do Vaishnava Aparad. And if it's a Vaishnava Aparad, then Lord Shiva should have taken it seriously. And the sages should have taken it seriously. They are not taken it seriously. Only Parvati did it. Parvati did it to correct this minor, very insignificant mistake. Like Parishit Maharaj put the dead snake. So, it is all happening. When these things are happen, there is a transcendental divine arrangement by Krishna. If Chitraketu did not rebuke, then Vritrasura's glory would not have come into the picture. And how wonderful he was a devotee as an Asura. So, Krishna wants to exhibit the pastime of Vritrasura and glorify in the pages of Bhagavatam. This is for the future glorification of Chitraketu. So, further glorification of Chitraketu. That's all. So, Bali Maharaj also further glorification. And Parishit Maharaj also further glorification. So, they did this act, which is very, 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 very insignificant. And therefore, it is not Vaishnava Aparad as you construe. It's not a grade of it. He just made a remark. That's all. And this is not nowhere it is mentioned as Vaishnava Aparad. Vaishnava Aparad will be a problem. But Parvati took it as an Aparad. Parvati took it and cursed him. And then he accepted. He accepted the mistake. He made a comment and statement, and that was a mistake from his side. Definitely, it's a mistake. But it is not a Vaishnava Aparad, like a big crime he has done like that. No, it's not like that. It's not a Vaishnava Aparad. If it is Vaishnava Aparad, it will be a big problem for him. There is no recourse. Then he has to fall at the feet of the Lord Shiva. Whereas the next to become a devotee, he never lose Krishna consciousness. If you do Vaishnava Aparad, you lose the consciousness of Krishna. Suppose Parishit Maharaj has put dead snake on Samika Rishi. So then in that case, if he has done Aparad, then what would have happened? If it is an Aparad, then there is no chance of seeing Krishna in the life. He will be bereft of Krishna consciousness. So Vaishnava Aparad means first the devotional creeper will be taken away from you. So the devotional creeper is not taken from Parishit Maharaj or Chitraketu. And in fact, Vritrasura glorifies nicely. 6, 11, 24, 25, 26, 27. He glorifies wonderfully Krishna. So, and he fights with Indra wonderfully. And then he dies in the battle. Glorious death. And then it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam 6th canto, Vritrasura's glorious death. And then he gets liberated and goes back to the spiritual world. Okay? It is just a pastime, Prabhuji. I mean, it's just a pastime. So these people, they don't play blunders in Bhagavatam. No. Whereas Duryodhana, yes, he is offended Krishna. He has offended the Pandavas. Yes. Dhritarashtra is offended. But also you must understand, Prabhujis and Matajis, from the higher angle of vision, this Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, all these people, they have seen Krishna face to face. And therefore, we can say, actually some acharyas, some sannyasis have said that these are all happening. They are taking the role of such a position and they do it. Actually, they are all devotees. So they are there. This is to enact pastime so that we get attracted towards all these qualities. We get attracted to Bali Maharaj. We get attracted to Bali Maharaj. How we can become intoxicated with pride? He was arrogant to Lord Vamana. Only problem is with him arrogance because he was conquering the 3 worlds. He was a wonderful devotee, Mahabhagavatam. But only one problem is that he has got ego. So slight here and there will be there, but doesn't mean it's a big aparad or something. Okay. Hope you Is it okay, Prabhu? Amit Sethi, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you so much for explaining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions? Prabhuji, can you forward this lecture, please, to me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Record.
Sure, I'll do. Prabhuji, how do neophytes like us, how we get the confidence to continue devotion when such verses are there? They are really,
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, it's a challenging situation. Prabhu, I've also got a lot of reverses from 2017. No, I'm seeing only reverse. Nothing good is happening. So, but some or other, I'm chanting the holy names. Some or other, I'm doing the Mangalarti. Some or other, Krishna is making me to do that. I have not become Krishna conscious. I'm telling you, I don't have any iota of Krishna conscious at all. But some or other, out of duty, out of fear, I'm doing this. So what we should do doesn't matter. Krishna doesn't matter whether you get love or affection. Or when the reverses comes, Krishna doesn't look at the reverses. Krishna sees how sincere you are trying to be engaged in this service. So 1 round, 2 rounds, whatever you are chanting. Our Maharaj says, no, this may not be very palatable to Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Not many sannyasis may recommend. But our Maharaj says very nicely, if you don't mind, I can express this. Maharaj says, if you are depressed and your situation is bad, Maharaj says, better you go and fight with Krishna. You go and fight with Krishna. No problem. Krishna, why you have put me in this? Why not you put me in proper devotion service? You can fight. Maharaj says, you fight with Krishna so that you will fight with Krishna, you will remember Krishna. Instead of fighting in the material world, you fight with Krishna. Why you are doing this to me? You can ask him, I cannot tolerate. I am not Varshit Maharaj. I am not Bali Maharaj. I am not Vidura Maharaj. I am an ordinary conditioned soul suffering in this material world. So give me a favorable circumstances and we can pray. There is no problem for us to pray to favorable situation so that we can execute devotion service lovingly. Now we are doing out of fear, because we don't know what our karmas. So whatever the karmas which are coming, when it is coming, how it is coming, I don't know. For me, what has happened? My previous period, 23 years, was smooth period. Now all the karmas are joined together and hitting. So that we don't know how it would hit, why it will hit. It is meant for purification or something. I don't know. So I'm still struggling, no? So I have been thrown, no? So 2017, my sister died. 2018, my wife went through uterus operation. And then my brother-in-law's son is not well. My sister's son is not well. So they are all struggling. I'm praying for them also. So both of them are not mentally all right. All this and my sister, I told. And then 2019, I have to resign and come. It was full of frustration on me. Until today, 2019 to 2022, I'm regretting why I came from Ahmedabad. I'm not able to accept Chennai at all. Even though I post-retirement, I said it was forced circumstances, but I'm feeling frustrated. So, only thing is which may make me hope is there's devotion service will never go in vain. Our bhakti, that's why some more other hold on to the chanting beats. Some more other hold on to the Bhagavatam. Some more other hold on. Even if you are depressed, please go to Krishna and fight with Krishna and chant the holy names. Get frustrated with Krishna, no problem. Please. This nobody will tell, no? Because it is better to fight with Krishna. Because Krishna is the only source where we can go and tell him. We have to complain with him. He is our supreme Lord, correct? He is the supreme shelter. We don't have any other shelter. Param Parayanam. So he is a Param Parayanam. So we have to go and take shelter of him. There is no other shelter. He is the supreme shelter of all shelters. Sharanam Sharanyam. He is worth taking shelter because he can only give protection. And he can only give relief from fear. He can only give relief from distress. He can only. Nobody else. So we are suffering. What is that verse? Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Namam Tadeva Shashman Manaso Mahatsav. 12-12-49. 12-12-50. Correct. Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Namam Tadeva Shashman Manaso Mahatsav. Tadeva Shokarna Shoshanam. So just by hearing this Shokarna, Parna means ocean. The ocean of miseries. Shokarna, what he says? Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Tadeva Shashman Manaso Mahatsav. Tadeva Shokarna Nasham. Tadev Ramyam Ruchiram Namam Namam. Tadev Shashwan Manaso Mahotsavam. Tadev Shokar Naman Shoshanam. Shoshanam means completely evaporate all the miseries. Means at least it give mental relief from us. We cannot get out of the misery, but at least it gives mental relief. That's what a power to tolerate the distress or the depression or the reverses which we are going through. It's not so easy, Prabhu. Don't worry. We are all sailing the same boat. Some people are in a better position to execute devotion service. They are in a better position. We may get envious. Don't get envious. Just continue your devotion service in this depression also. No problem. Krishna doesn't bother how you are depressed or something like that. Krishna sees the service, See, Putana came with the motive to kill Krishna. So our motive is to get frustrated with shout with Krishna. But our motive is not correct. But we are doing the service. So don't stop the service. So your service for devotion service, the program arranging, your Bhagavatam reading, Bhagavad Gita reading, don't stop it. Whatever devotion service you do, you continue to do. And especially hold on to the beats and get frustrated with Krishna and fight with him. So what has happened? Putana did with a motive to kill Krishna. But what has happened? She got liberated. So anything going towards Krishna, Krishna is like a fire. We are like a dirty water, dirty pepper. So we get burned. All our contaminations getting burned. Correct? Krishna is like a fire. So he will burn all the bad things in our body. And slowly, he will give us the power of tolerance. And that's what we have to pray. We have to pray, earnestly pray for his mercy. That's a verse, 10:14:8. Brahma is praying that. It's a very important verse. But it's not so easy to apply in our material life. But at least we can try. I would not say, Prabhu, you have to do this. I will not say. I have not applied that verse in my life. So it's not possible to say that I have to apply this. But I will try to meditate on this verse and try to think about this verse, whether we can apply or not. At least that gives us a strength. You become a rightful claim. So you somehow or other, you fall at the feet of Krishna. Your body, mind, and words should be towards Krishna, even though without any intention, without anything. But you do this devotion service, he says you become eligible for liberation. So in this lifetime, doesn't matter, maybe small money, but your existence is getting terminated, Prabhu. All of our existence, all of our karmas are getting nullified by the process. Karmani nirdagati kintu cha bhakti bhaja. So we have entered in the Krishna consciousness. Lot of karmas are getting dissipated. All the sanjita karma, kremana karma are all getting burned by the process of fire of devotion service. Jnanagni, dakta karmana. Jnanagni means this transcendental knowledge will burn all the sinful reactions, sinful actions and reactions which we have incurred. Because we are chanting the holy names of Krishna. So it is happening. So that means we are all going back to Godhead as quick as possible. And that is Krishna, up to Krishna. Okay? Hare Krishna. Don't worry about it. We are all sailing the same boat. But fight with Krishna. This is my Maharaj statement. I am not putting my statement into this. Maharaj says, you become fight with Krishna, and that's no problem. But don't leave the drop with chanting. Dropping chanting means dropping Bhagavatam, dropping his association. That's finished. You are finished. And then your rejection will be more because more miseries are waiting outside. Karmas are waiting to grab you. So this is like insulin now. It's like, if you go out, you get corona. So you be inside, you are protected. The Krishna consciousness is a protection from corona. All your karmas. Karmas are like corona, waiting to attack you. And this comes through the air. Correct? And this is also comes through the air and attacks. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for a wonderful enlightening answer, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So if no devotee has further questions, we will conclude the session. Hare Krishna. Vacha kalpatru bhyascha kripasindhubhyo virucha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Shri Radha Kunj Bihari Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, please pray for me, all of you. I fall at your feet and fall at your lotus feet of all the devotees, that one day I should apply this 1.18.48. Just not speaking on Tiraskrita Vipralabdha, but I should apply in my life. I am not able to apply. I'm still struggling. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
today is birthday of my son, so please bless him.
Oh, okay, definitely. Okay. Hare Krishna. What is his name?
Name is
Vivan.
Vivan.
Hare Krishna. Huh?
Vivan.
Vivan. Now he's
Vivan. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to Vivan. Hare Krishna bless you. Hare Krishna to you. May Krishna bless you. May Krishna bless you. Hare Krishna to Vivan. Hari Bol. Okay, he's going back to Krishna. Don't worry about it. He's a devotee's son. So he should be a devotee.
He has started Jai Jagdish Hare.
Huh?
Jai Jagdish Hare, he chants, even he's just completed 2 years.
2 years. Very good, Mataji. Just teach him Hare Krishna. Just teach him Narasimha Stotra. Chant all the slokas in front of him.
He says
He will
Hare
become
Krishna.
a nice devotee. He will become Prahlad Maharaj.
He
He will
says
become
Hare
Dhruva
Krishna.
Maharaj. Don't worry.
Yes.
Just give him Krishna consciousness from young age. No? Just you do the devotion service nicely and he will see you. Okay?
Okay.
Most of the children see you. Your bhakti will automatically make him a devotee. That's what it is.
He says Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very good. Hare Krishna to him. Dandavad pranams to him.
Dandavad pranam to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dhanwad Pranam.